Hello, and welcome to yet another reflection on the Sunday Gospel readings. This week we're going to be looking at the fifth Sunday in Lent, and there's really two things I want to point out from this Sunday. And the first thing is from the first reading, and it's from the book of Jeremiah. And God is telling Jeremiah that when he brings the people out of exile, he's going to write the law of his love on their heart. And initially, the original covenant at Mount Sinai, next to it, you had the law written on tablets. And now the law of God is going to be written on the people's hearts. And in a very big way, like when we receive baptism, that law, that love of God is written on our hearts. And that love can increase when we receive other sacraments. So when we receive communion and reconciliation, when we receive those sacraments regularly, the love of God can increase in our heart even more. And especially when we receive confirmation, we're even further brought into that mission. So we can continue to understand that love of God in our heart. So reflect on whether if you've been confirmed, reflect on your confirmation day, reflect on your baptism, just reflect on the sacraments and what they can do and what the Word of God in your heart can do. That's the first thing I want to talk about in Jeremiah. The law of the love of God is going to be written on our hearts. Let it be written on your heart today. And the second thing is from the gospel. And Jesus talks about how a seed must be planted and die before it can bring new life. And as you can see from behind me, I have lots of plants. So I really like whenever Jesus uses any form of plant metaphor or gardening metaphor because that's something that I really like. And one of the things I do is I plant pumpkin seeds in the spring and they grow into pumpkins. But what you'll see when a seed sprouts from the ground, it's kind of rotting, kind of dirty. It's breaking apart, and it's essentially kind of the seed itself in a way is died. It's passed away, but it bears great fruit. And I know some years I'll get a huge pumpkin crop. Some pumpkins are like this big and they're real nice, and it all depends on various factors like how are we taking care of them, how do I take care of my pumpkins, how is the weather, how do I account for the changes in weather, and if that's the case, if I take good care of them, if it's a good season and the seeds are good seeds, then I can get a good bountiful harvest. It's a small one compared to what you might see at a pumpkin patch, but this is what Jesus is calling for us. Jesus is calling for us to die to ourselves in little ways. It doesn't have to be a big way, but little ways, whether it be giving up some of our time for someone, or giving up something else, or even just looking at our lives and finding things that, maybe I do too much of this one thing. Maybe I can take away some of that time from that and add it to prayer or add it to service or almsgiving and just die a little bit to ourselves. And we're all in relationships with other people, whether they be friends or other relationships. We're all in a relationship with someone. And relationships involve dying to ourselves. Even if it's your best friend, there might be a thing that your best friend does. You're like, oh, well, I'm not entirely a fan of what they do, but you know what? I love them anyways, so I'm going to continue being their friend. If they're doing something that's dangerous and harmful for them, like, let them know. But let's say if they have, like, an annoying way of eating. Instead of commenting on that, maybe just die to yourself a little bit and show that love for the other person. So we can continue to bear that bountiful fruit of love that God has written in our hearts. So until next week, God bless. Please pray for me. I am praying for you. And have a good week and stay safe.